Hi, Brendan. Thank you for joining me today. And I want to take this time to appreciate your contribution towards the Multicultural Food Hub for supporting entrepreneurs during our NSW Small Business Month event and for taking on some of our business owners who want to get their products to market. So today, I just want to understand how you found our programs, what kind of impact you think these programs can have on helping migrant food entrepreneurs get their business off the ground.
Well, firstly, thanks for having me on. I think it's a great opportunity for people to understand the retail market. I'm not the only one, but there's a lot of us out there that have come through this background our whole lives, working through supermarkets and independents. And as you know, I've owned independent supermarkets myself. But I think where it's important for you guys to be able to do this in a hub is to teach what people need to understand is just where our current market in Australia is, because Australia is not like any other country in the world. We are the only country in the world with two dominant chains, being Coles and Woolworths, right? We have probably 4,000 independent supermarkets as well, but they don't have a lot of penetration in metro areas. They do in country areas. And then we have Aldi and Costco. But people need to understand that in Australia, Aldi still only has less than 12% market share, but it's been here for 24 years. Understanding the current climate is very, very important. And you bringing these companies to you, and then you reaching out to people like myself, can give them the right advice moving forward, which I think is integral and very, very important for the people that want to bring products into the country to get into Australian supermarkets.
So from the last participation that you had with entrepreneurs, what would be your thoughts around the benefit of this type of education the hub is trying to provide?
So the educational piece is so important because they don't understand. Anybody can have a product, right? And it can be the greatest product in the world. But if consumers don't know what that product is, nobody's picking it up off the shelf. It's a bit like merchandising companies these days as well. People don't think they need merchandising companies, but I always relate back to this. Coca-Cola go into supermarkets every single week, but they're the #1 soft drink brand in Australia. So there's such a need to understand our market, but understand what their own background is to be. So in the companies that I've dealt with you guys, you know, people have got a product and that they may have made it in their kitchen, and it could be a fresh product, right? What they haven't done, they haven't looked at APNs or TUNs. They haven't gone through GS1. They haven't done shelf life testing through ALS. They haven't actually done all the work before getting to a supermarket. So they might ring up Coles, get a meeting. These are all the questions that Coles is going to ask. And then they're going to ask, what are you doing above the line marketing? What are you doing below the line marketing? And a lot of you, the people that you're working with, they don't know what that means, or they don't understand that educational piece that they're going to get from someone like myself, not just me, there's others like me. And that's why it's very, very important for you guys to connect these people with us, so we can actually teach them before they go to any supermarket. This is what you need. These are the steps you need to place and take into effect.
Right. What I hear is there needs to be that connection within the industry experts and entrepreneurs who are trying to get into the supermarket. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. But
Okay.
and just one further part from that is that a lot of the time, whatever they're developing, they don't have food techs that are a part of their business. You should always have a food tech. You should always know your costs. Have a look at your P&Ls. A lot of people think, when you manufacture, for instance, a lot of people think that wages are your biggest cost, right? But it's not. It's actually transport. It's how you get your product all around Australia. And we're a big country compared to most countries they come from.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a massive, massive educational piece. I get people coming to see me nearly every day about how do I go about doing this.
Right.
And they need a hub like yourself to bring them together to get them to understand. And to be honest, without something like you've got, right, people will fail before
Mm,
they even start. They've failed. And there's a couple of acronyms I sort of use, but to fail is your first attempt in learning.
mm-hmm.
No is the next opportunity.
Mm.
And fail to plan is a plan for failure.
Definitely. I agree with you 100% because a lot of people come into the country, they're very ambitious, they've got these big dreams, and sometimes you tend to think you can read to figure things out, but
Yeah.
it's not always the same. Your learning is not complete until you have gone into the field to really practice and get mentored by those who have gone ahead of you. I appreciate your comments on the important work that we're doing with entrepreneurs, and we hope to continue to do more and provide more education.
I think it's a great initiative, and you should encourage more members to come across. I see a lot of companies that they think they're going to do all this big stuff, but they just haven't got the experience. What happens in other countries is
Yeah.
irrelevant to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I talked about merchandising companies before. In Europe, they don't have merchandising companies anymore. You don't need them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Australia is just such a unique country in the
Okay.
way that we do things,
Mm.
and there's systems, and a lot of it's built on relationships. So whoever they might touch base with, and not me, but someone else, make sure they do their due diligence, that they have relationships with the right people and decision makers in supermarkets, because that's how it's going to, that's what's going to further their business and get them off the ground.
Thanks a lot, Brendan. I appreciate your time.
No worries. All right. Enjoy the weekend.